Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. When a baseball team is 11 and a half games out of first place in the first week of June, it's hard to imagine that they could ever get themselves back into a pennant race. But I'm giving the Indians one more chance. They've got 3 games at home against the front-running Minnesota Twins starting tonight. If they don't sweep, the front office has to cut the cord. And to add insult to injury, the New York Yankees come to town for 4 over the weekend. But the countdown begins at 7 o'clock tonight. There's no other way to put it. Win all 3 or start clearing the deck. Bud Shaw is here. More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Tuesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into our 23rd consecutive year, and of course, seen exclusively on cleveland.com. Bud Shaw is here from WKYC.com. It wasn't mandatory for you to be at minicamp. Did you go?
I didn't. I don't know whether I've been fined or not, but I missed the first day. But I'm a veteran. You know, I've seen a lot of these minicamps.
I see your playbook.
I've seen a lot of these mini camps over the years, so what's the big deal?
Okay, I'm going to tell you what the big deal is.
All right.
The Browns made a big deal. Well, they didn't, but they did make a big deal about mandatory, non-voluntary, and all that stuff. I'm not going to mention the person's name, but somebody in the front office had a lucrative speaking engagement last night. And it was supposed to start at 7 o'clock. I got home from the show at about 7:30, and my phone rings and says, excuse me, so-and-so can't make it or isn't here. Would you mind? I wasn't too far from where this lucrative.
And when you say lucrative, you mean you got dinner out of this?
No, it was too late for dinner. A lucrative, a speaking engagement for charity.
Yeah.
So now, on top of that, I thought I was going to get a ticket for speeding to go to this charity. So they called me to fill in. So the guy. My first line is, well, didn't he know it was mandatory to be here? I'm not going to name the guy's name, but they don't believe it within their own. You know what they said? The front office people don't get that many opportunities to speak, so they need somebody to take them to the event and make sure they get there on time and all that stuff.
So like maybe in an orange Rolls Royce, something like that would have been the appropriate vehicle?
Apparently.
With a pop-up hood ornament?
But I will tell you during the break who it was.
Okay. And then I'll tell everybody else in the second segment.
Just signals. Give signals. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Indians and Twins tonight. Tyler-Naquin activated from the IL. That should be what? Good, bad, indifferent?
Well, I think that will, pretty much ensure the sweep.
Which way?
Twins. We won't say which way either until the second segment.
Jefry-Rodriguez put on the 10-day IL with the shoulder strain, so it's contagious with these pitchers.
Yes, it's very convenient with these pitchers,
also,
too.
Also, timing is everything.
Clevenger will make a start in AAA, and it sounds like, the earliest he could have come back was June 7th. It sounds like, obviously, he won't be back on June 7th, but it sounds like shortly after he will be if this goes well.
Right. Well, the Indians promoting Mike Clevenger Day, they're just not telling anybody who the Indians are playing on that day, but you should buy tickets anyway.
Well, I think it's bobblehead night, isn't it, tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Minnesota Twins are playing if the Indians won't tell you.
Yeah.
All right, I understand you have an opening comment.
Yes, I do.
What do you have?
It's not baseball related, and it's not football related.
Really? What do you have?
It's basketball related. Nobody's talking about basketball.
Why should they?
Well, listen, Les, I can't watch the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals without wondering how the good people of Cleveland view the LeBron years now that his time has passed here. We think it's passed for good, unless, of course, he returns at age 38 or 39 for one last go of it. But all in all, a sports city unaccustomed to feeling blessed had the best player of his generation in a Cavaliers uniform for 11 seasons and won exactly 1 championship. And we know the improbability of that one title coming as it did in Game 7 by virtue of the block and the shot, and after a Draymond Green meltdown and suspension earlier in the series. Some Cavs fans will no doubt find some pleasure in seeing the Warriors lose to the Raptors if it comes to that. But in my mind, that pleasure has grown from not winning nearly enough when James was here and Dan Gilbert was spending whatever it took to build championship teams around him. 1 for 11? To me, that's a disappointment any way you look at it. How about you, Les?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I'm thinking that so many fans tell me that, well, he got the one championship, so he gets a pass. I don't think so.
No, and I'm
right.
not putting it all on him. I just think that in early years they failed to put that kind of team around him.
Right.
I mean, look at the team that he went to the 2007 finals with against the Spurs. I mean,
Had no chance.
That team had no chance at all. Later on, they did have a chance, and maybe if you could argue that if Love and Kyrie Irving don't get hurt that year, maybe he does win a second one.
Right.
But then you'd have to say, how did he end up?
But
the one that they did win wasn't exactly the surest
But
thing
for
either.
his legacy, don't you have to throw in Miami for him?
You absolutely have to throw in Miami for him, and I think he'll come out of it. Right now, it looks like he's going to finish with what he's got.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yes.
Now, we never know.
Or unless he gets traded or
yeah,
walks
or
away.
it'll take maybe a Kevin Durant saying he's going to sign with the Lakers, or something dramatic is going to have to happen, I think, for James to get another title.
Does James become just a piece of a puzzle, the fifth or sixth man of a championship team?
I don't know.
Talking a year or two down the road.
That could potentially happen if he wants to keep playing until he's late 30s or 40. I guess the one thing we should keep in mind, and I heard this when people were saying, why didn't Giannis, that Giannis somehow underachieved in Milwaukee by not getting to the finals with the best record in the league. But Michael Jordan was almost, I think, 7 years into his career before they made the finals. Am I right?
Absolutely.
So it's not the easiest thing to do.
No, I think LeBron made it look easy. LeBron set the standard. Everybody thought it's easy to do, and it's still just as hard after LeBron doing it than before. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. So are you watching the games or not?
I am, and people don't like when I say this, so I'll say it again. I absolutely love watching the Golden State Warriors play basketball. If their second team is in, they play the same style of ball as if their first team's in. If they lose guys for injury, they're playing the same kind of basketball. They're passing, they're moving, I just like the way they play. I think it's a beautiful game the way they play it.
And that being said, is it okay with you if they still lose?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to see the city of Toronto be able to celebrate something like that. First NBA Finals in franchise history, and a really good sports town, too.
216-575-0403. Email us during the show at real-les-levine@gmail.com. Bud Shaw is with us, WKYC.com. Duke Johnson showed up today, so did Beckham, but Duke Johnson's still not happy.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's being pretty naive. And is it unheard of for a GM who thinks he's going to be able to sign a guy like Kareem Hunt to start looking around and saying, well, what could I get for Duke Johnson? So Duke Johnson talks about loyalty. I don't really understand what he's talking about. You have a contract, you play under it. When that
seemed okay when you signed it.
Yeah, when that contract's coming to an end, you have an option to go somewhere else and play. I would hope, for their sake, that this is the last of him talking about whether he wants to be traded. He hadn't been here for any of the OTAs, so this was the time when everyone was going to ask the question, do you still want to be traded? He answered it honestly, and he promises or says that he will move on now and give his best effort.
You think the Browns and Baker-Mayfield are more upset with him than they are with Beckham?
Yeah, I mean, probably, because one guy, they don't want, it's one thing for Beckham not to be at OTAs, but if this lingers into the serious part of the year in training camp and Duke Johnson doesn't want to be here and it shows, then it's, I think it's like, let's rally the forces when we get to July, late July, and now we're a month and a half away from starting the season, and that's when it gets more important.
We'll talk more about that when we get back. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine, with new content posted each and every day. Bud Shaw and I return in a moment. We are seen exclusively, More Sports and Les Levine, is on cleveland.com.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
The moment I'm not wanted anymore, I think it's best that, we find a middle ground and we do what's best for the team. If you don't want me here, there's, no need to keep me or force me to be here if you don't want me here. I've always wanted to be here, and I made it very clear, especially after going 1-15, then 0-16, and re-signing here. I made it very clear what my intention was. So,
do you feel wanted now here?
Nothing has changed. This is the only difference between last week and this week is this is mandatory. His job, John Dorsey's job, is to do what's best for the team and the organization. And again, if that's getting rid of me for a bigger piece and a better piece, then I'm okay with it. Like I said before, my trade request was to meet them at a middle ground. I was put on trade block a month before I requested the trade, so that's all it is.
So what has to happen going forward to make you feel that you are wanted?
To be honest, nothing.
So, Duke, there's nothing?
No, sir.
There's nothing that can repair this?
You know what, that's something that we've been dealing with for a while. If we have guys that want to be here, they'll show that, they'll voice that. Obviously, he's going to handle his stuff how he wants. But you're either on this train or you're not. It's moving. You can get out the way or you can join us. So it is what it is.
No, definitely. I still have a relationship with Duke. I'm happy that he's here. It's good to see him. But outside of that, I hope it works out for us as the Browns and for him if that's the way that it goes. But he's a tremendous talent. And he's capable of making plays. So I have no other say about what happens.
Are you guys reaching out to him, talking to him? Because one of the things he said today is that he doesn't feel wanted, and I think the root of it is that he was saying it's like a sense of disloyalty to him in terms of being on the block a month before he said that he wanted to. So it almost sounds like he needs to be embraced, feel wanted, feel his role is going to be there, particularly with Kareem Hunt missing time too. And I was just wondering how much you guys as players are reaching out to him to give him that feeling, or if you feel that's necessary. Yeah,
I hope he understands and feels that that guys are here for him, whether, he is here or not, that the relationship goes beyond just the player, obviously the person as well. So I definitely hope he understands that and know that there are guys that's, here for him.
It's not awkward.
It's not awkward?
No.
Why not?
It's self-inflicted. It is what it is. It's not awkward for anybody else in this building.
How do you support it? Do you support him as a teammate then while he's here? How do you go about doing that?
He's got to do his job. He said he's a professional. I hope he does his job.
He's good at that.
Yeah,
Baker.
it sounds harsh, right, when it comes out of his mouth, like,
and we see it in print,
like walk it off, that kind of thing. But when you think about it, did the Indians shop Corey Kluber and Trevor Bauer in the offseason?
Yeah.
Now, what's your definition of shop? We don't know exactly, but we know that they were taking calls. They were interested in seeing what they could get for him.
Although I think in one case, Bauer, he probably welcomed it.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that those things do happen, and I just, I think Duke Johnson is being a little naive here about, and listen, I understand those were 2 horrible years.
Right.
1-15, 0-16. He signs after that because he wants to be here. No guarantee that the next regime would want him to be here. So
that is
it's
true.
just the way it happens.
But I have one question about that whole sequence of what we just saw.
What?
I thought Baker-Mayfield shaved his beard.
I think he might be growing it back.
This
I
is a
have
new
one
one?
question about it. He mentioned the train is moving.
Yeah.
And you're either on it or you're not. This isn't the same train that was there when Chris Palmer was there, is it?
No, the one
that
runaway
was the
train?
runaway
Yeah,
okay.
this may be running away the other way.
That one was running
Although
over people.
that train had to go somewhere.
It went somewhere fast south.
Could be under the Belichick Hill. What did they call it? Bill's Hill or Belichick's Hill?
Bill's Hill, I think.
Yeah. 216-575-0403. So the question is he a team player or is that an outmoded adjective? Team player.
Duke Johnson?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's had his say. He's telling them, you didn't want me first, so I met you in the middle ground and told you that I don't want to be here, and I still don't want to be here, and nothing can repair it. I think that they'll end up making a deal because I think somebody along the way in this league, running back, will get hurt in training camp or in exhibition season, and it'll behoove them to make a deal for a running back, and if they get a third or fourth rounder from a desperate team at that point, these guys will probably do it.
Yeah. All right, so he's one guy that has shown up. Another guy we've been talking about for a couple of months now, we're talking about Odell Beckham.
Who's that? I'm not familiar with that name.
Yeah, they got him in a trade with the New York Football Giants.
Has he ever won a title? He's won a title? Has he been a
Well,
Super Bowl champ?
he was in a wild card game once.
Well, that must mean he's arrived then.
Well, he had 4 targets, I think.
Okay.
Maybe. You're cynical.
Well, I'm a little. I think we do this in this town where when they get a player of a certain caliber who you never thought they'd be able to get.
We haven't had one with
then
this
whatever
caliber.
whatever the guy does is just fine with everybody. It's just fine. It was the same way with Albert, right?
It's not fine with me.
It was fine with Albert. With Indians fans, when Albert was producing, everything he did was absolutely fine. It was the media's fault.
Well, I would say that's possible, except when he ran into Fernando Vina, I cringed.
Yeah, well, there were a few things that he may have pushed the envelope on acceptance, but
he also had a 52-50 year.
When that happened, Indians fans were like, "Get out of the way if you don't want to get knocked down," you know. So I just think we're in that period now where everybody's excited about Mayfield and Beckham and what they can do offensively, and no one who has questioned Beckham not being at the OTAs has ever suggested that he couldn't be ready in time for the season because of it. All they're saying is, new team, new head coach, new teammates.
Don't make your coach look bad.
You're the leader. You're going to be a leader on this team. Why wouldn't you want to be here more than once? That's all anybody's asking.
By the way,
I think that's a fair question.
You had a bad reputation in New York. Here's one easy way to get rid of it.
Yeah, and I know Joe Thomas was on social media in a kind of a give and take with Tony Grossi, in which he sort of defended Beckham or any veteran players' decision to get themselves ready at their own pace in the offseason. And it was asked of Joe, oh yeah, then why were you at every OTA that was ever held?
Well,
and Joe has a way of he has supported every head coach who's been here.
Right, and every quarterback.
He thought Hugh Jackson was going to be a good head coach. He thought
does that make him a poor judge of talent or just a great team player?
He's a great team player, and I think he probably feels like he's, speaking for players everywhere in this league who probably don't want the league forcing them into these off-season workouts like this. I mean, everybody thinks that it's a glory job, and I understand it is. But would you want to be available in the off-season for 4 or 5 of these things every year?
No, you would.
These guys do it because they're afraid not to do it for the most part.
But an Odell Beckham can because he's got his position.
And I just thought this year, joining a new team, he should have been around more.
Well, we'll find out what some of the Browns have to say about Odell Beckham, who did show up at practice today. Catch the excitement of live harness racing, and you can do that on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday evening with a post time of 6 p.m. It's open early every day for simulcast action from all around the world. Weekly Sunday contest, top prize $500 apiece. And Ladies Luck Clubhouse is open every Saturday with a buffet just $15.95, and special pricing on premier nights. Free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park, Belmont Stakes, and the Battle of Lake Erie coming up this Saturday, June 8th. Bud and I return in a moment exclusively on cleveland.com.
When my dad started Nature Stone right here in Northeast Ohio, he created a solution for age-old concrete problems. Unevenness, cracking, pitting, and more. Nature Stone solves all of these problems in garages, basements, and outdoor spaces. Nature Stone is beautiful, environmentally friendly, and always affordable. Plus, Nature Stone is backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty.
Get Nature Stone installed in your home by the end of May and get up to half off. Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today.
It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Because, you know, there's so much trial and error during this time about how we want to get things accomplished. Yeah, there's definitely a significant amount, but when it comes down to it, he's going to learn that playbook. He's going to handle it the way he needs to, you know, much like Duke did. He's going to have to know the plays when we get out here, and that's expected. And so he'll be able to handle that, but, you know, with the way that we're, you know, kind of finalizing what we want to get accomplished and how we want to go about it, it's a pretty good time for him to come in and be able to do it.
Did you really understand? I mean, were you usually supportive with the way that he handled everything up to this point, and you were fine with it?
You know, a professional is going to be a professional. You know, he's going to train how he wants to. It's an elite athlete. That's how he does his stuff, and you got to believe and trust in that. That's the same thing I said last time, and you got to trust him to be able to show up and when he needs to and be there for his team. And I just know him, and that's the type of guy he is. He's going to be here when he needs to. It's obviously still early in the process, but you know, we're going to kick it into a little overdrive here pretty soon, and you know, just keep building that. You know, we don't have to be perfect right now. We're building for that. You know, still a long way away from game one, but you know, we got to be ready for that.
Just holding each other accountable. You know, we kind of, when we were at LSU, we kind of went through days, you know, understanding, you know, we wanted to have the better day of practice, you know, and individually and as a group, you know, and that competition level, again, that became the standard, that became the bar. You know, one of us dropped the ball that practice, you know, the other one made sure that we didn't drop a ball, you know, and that was kind of the friendly brotherhood competition that kind of made us who we are, you know, and it challenged us, and, you know, he's going to challenge every guy in that room, not just me, you know, and vice versa. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to have him here, and, you know, I can't wait till, you know, things get really going.
The team goals are obviously first for everybody here, but with so many weapons on the offense, will you and Odell be okay if each of you are catching 46 passes instead of your usual $1 million?
Well, I don't know if you break that up the same way, but I think there are going to be opportunities. You know, ultimately, I think the goal at the end of the day is to win each game. You know, regardless of how it's done, who scores the touchdowns, who catches the passes. Now, is there a sense of pride in there where, you know, you want to be the guy that make the plays? Absolutely. You know, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. But at the end of the day, I think that we have the right group of guys, the group of men with the right attitudes that will allow us to not fall in, you know, the pride trap of, you know, who's catching the touchdowns or who catching the balls.
All right. I think I now see, and I think the fans see and you see, what the problem is with Beckham not showing up for camp. Will he be in shape? No, that's not the question. Mm-hmm. The problem is, look at the frustration on Baker-Mayfield having to answer the same questions over and over and over again instead of what the quarterback should be answering at this time of the year. And it's all because Beckham decided not to show up.
Yeah, well, you know, again, I think the organization, if hooked up to polygraphs, would say they expected him to be here more than one OTA session. And I don't think that's too much to ask. I understand that you may have some things going on in the off season, but I just think it was special circumstances of him being traded to a team where he doesn't know the head coach very well, hasn't met any of the coaches on the staff. He knows his position coach.
Doesn't know where Bree is.
You know, just that's all. Now that it's over with and everything from here on is mandatory, I'm sure he'll be here and I'm sure he'll perform well in September.
So when we get into September, into the months of the season, what do you expect from Odell Beckham?
I think there'll be fantastic plays. I think there'll be signs of, some egomania. There has been before. I think he'll probably have some injuries. He's had those before. But, he's going to be that dynamic guy that makes enough plays that people will love him for
And
it.
if Jarvis-Landry is having a great year, better than him, what do you expect there?
Well, I don't think that is going to happen, but I think if it does, I think Landry will be the first to say that the year he's having is probably a direct result of the attention that Beckham commands when he's on the field.
All right.
Jarvis-Landry, to me, is a very good slot receiver, a good team leader. He's not a game-breaking guy, so I think.
But a good guy to have.
Oh, absolutely. And I think we saw him in Hard Knocks, the kind of stance he took. And listen, he probably didn't want to be at OTAs either, right? But he was there. He wasn't practicing all the time, but he was there. He was there. And I think that if Beckham had come in and said, I don't want to take a chance on getting hurt at this time of year, but I'm going to be here for, 2 days a week for this thing.
And my guess is the Browns would have even suggested that.
I think they probably would have been fine with it. I just think it's more of is this guy going to want to be part of this team and part of the camaraderie and the chemistry and everything, or is he coming here because he got traded and just looking to win games and have big stat games?
Freddie Kitchens has said on numerous occasions that he talked to talked to Odell Beckham early on, talked to him every day, right?
That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said. I don't know if that continued on through the rest of the OTAs.
It's hard to imagine.
But the question is, how does Freddie Kitchens not let this bother him? Because this is his first trial as a head coach in the NFL.
I think what's bothering him a little bit is, first of all, I do think he expected him to be here a little more often, but I think the other part of it is that he's had to deal with all those questions all the time. And now I guess today he said, I wasn't there again, but from reading the stories, I guess he said that he thought that the media had taken his comments the last time out of context. But he was asked last time, what has Beckham missed? It wasn't a loaded question.
No.
He said, what has he missed?
Everything.
And he said, a lot.
Yeah.
The offense. So he could have answered that, hey, he's missed some obviously some offense, but he's a veteran guy and he's really smart, and we think we can get him up to speed. He could have answered that in any way he wanted to.
Do you think that was suggested by the PR department, how to answer that question?
That they're the one that said?
No, that Freddie was a little rougher than he had been. Was he prepped?
Yeah, I don't know. They probably didn't prep him because it was May, and it was like, well, we know the guy, it's not mandatory, so what's the big issue? And Freddie will handle whatever comes his way. Freddie's going to find out, and he's pretty good with the media already, I think. But
Yeah.
But it's going to get tougher when he makes a call late in the game and they lose, or he mismanages the clock, or whatever happens. And he's going to be bombarded with questions. If they get off to a 1-2 start, he's going to be bombarded with questions.
All right.
That's just part
of it. Are you aware, you're talking about the offense, are you aware the Browns also have a defense?
Yeah, and I think Freddie asked people that kind of today too, like, why aren't you talking about the defense? Because I haven't run into one person so far that stopped me in a coffee shop and said, how do you think Sheldon Richardson's going to be this year?
Well, if you had asked damarious-randall, you would get this answer. We'll do that when we get back. The voicemail of Truth and Reason is where you can contact 23 hours out of the day. You can watch us the 1 hour from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Then you can go to voicemail of Truth and Reason, 216-200-6650. Call us anytime and leave a message. We'll use the best messages on a future show. More Sports and Les-Levine continues. Bud Shaw with us exclusively on cleveland.com.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smyly One Heating and Cooling. Find them at 440-449-HEAT.
Great coach. He's a player's coach. He is going to do the things that we are good at, and that's the one thing you look for up in a coach. A coach that will make an adjustment to his defense, to the players that he has.
Do you see yourself thriving in his defense, just like how you did with Greg's?
Yes, definitely.
What did that position change going back to safety last year? Going into year 2 here, is Wilkes using you a lot of the same ways? You feeling pretty comfortable with that stuff?
Well, I don't think I'm going to be 25, 30 yards deep this year. I'm going to be more around the line of scrimmage, probably a little more involved in the game a little bit more this year. So, I mean, you should probably see a little more spike in my play, a lot better numbers and stuff like that coming up. Yes.
How does that fit with your skills, do you think?
I mean, I'm a very versatile guy, so I mean, I feel like I can fit into any defensive scheme, but I feel like this one fits me the best, and I'm going to be around the ball making a lot of plays.
Damarious, with all these upgrades they made, they brought a lot of guys on defense. How excited are you to get that, see how that looks, and do you get a sense this defense can be what it needs to be?
I mean, it feel like when I be playing Madden, whenever I trade all the good players to my team, that's what it feels like. But I mean, obviously, it's not a video game. I mean, we have to gel as one, and that's just what we've been doing every day. Just been kind of just getting out here and working, and we're gonna continue to get better and to just learn each other every day.
Wouldn't you like one time somebody asked a question like that to a defensive player about last year and Greg Williams, and some guy says, you know, I really enjoyed that being 40 yards back. And
yeah, didn't get my uniform dirty.
I like the fact that he let me have one move and that was it. I thought I had 10, but I think it's a good idea to have one.
Yeah, like Myles Garrett instead of. Yeah, it was kind of a funny comment. Just think how Jabril Peppers feels, right? He played even farther back. So
right. So that's Steve Wilkes. What do you? I like the fact that he was a head coach, not jaded in his ways. I think he probably thought he had a good deal going in Arizona, but he's got a better deal as an assistant here right now.
Yeah, I think Freddie Kitchens' kind of genuine reputation helped bring guys like Wilkes here as coordinator. Monk in the same thing. You know, they don't have to worry about the sort of the political,
the minutia
stuff that you had to when you were on a staff with Hugh. You know, I mean, remember some of that Hard Knock stuff? It was just kind of silly. I mean, when you
thought it was funny at the time.
Yeah, I mean, but I thought there were a few warning signs, and like one obviously was when they're sitting there and Freddie and Haley disagree with something that Hugh's doing, and Hugh's like, well, when you get to sit in my chair, you can make a decision. And
I think that was when Haley wanted guys who were not practicing. He wanted them dressed on the field.
And the fact is, Haley had sat in his position. You know, he had been a head coach for a short period of time in the league, about not much shorter than you. So that's what guys don't want to hear, because it looked to them, I'm sure, like Hugh was trying to show them up in front of the cameras. And you certainly don't do that when there are cameras in the room.
And
if you care about your
And my
assistant.
guess is Haley, in meetings with his own players, his own position players, probably let some of his feelings out. Yeah, I don't see him holding his feelings in.
He didn't do a very good job of it on camera, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so 24 hours ago, we're getting ready to do the show. And 5 minutes before 6, we get the word that Gerald McCoy was signing back with the Panthers. Number one, is that a loss to the Browns? Did they really want him? Did they try their best? I think they lowballed him.
Well, it certainly sounds like if the numbers are right or correct in what he supposedly signed for, $8.5 million.
Yeah. No, I think it's 10.5.
Oh, I thought it was less. So that might make some sense if he got that much, because maybe the Browns just weren't willing to do that.
Yeah, but if they wanted him badly, they would have come up with it, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure I would have. I think he's still an impact player, but I don't think he's the Pro Bowler that he's been. And you know, we don't know. You know, he by going to Carolina, he gets to play against a team that let him go twice a year, and maybe that's important to him
All
too.
right, so were the Browns after him because he became available, or did they have a need and check that out? And which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah, I think it was because he was available and they had money, and well, why wouldn't we bring him in here and talk to him? Yeah. I don't think it's. I thought it was one of those things where if he signed here, he definitely would add, you know, a lot of talent to a position that they probably still need a little more depth at. But I don't know that he was going to come in here and at the end of the year we'd say, boy, he was the best player on the defensive line.
216-575-0403. When we get back, we've got the question of the day on Facebook. You can hear what some of the responses are. You can also see how it works. If you want to email us on Facebook, you can do that. We'll get your picture and your comments on the air as soon as we can. A little later, Bud will be judging some How Come Quickies, I believe.
Here's my pen.
Yeah, we'll get the Facebook question of the day when we get back. All right, you missed it. You missed it at Sokolowski's, the big wine tasting event.
Did you go?
Fantastic.
Yeah?
Sold out,
like
full house. There wasn't a person in the world who didn't have a great time there. I beseech you to do it next year.
I will.
All right, very good. Sokolowski's University Inn. Nothing better. Winner of the James Beard Foundation Award. Only 5 restaurants in the country win it each year. It's my belief that Sokolowski's the only one to win it from the greater Cleveland area. I don't think any other restaurant in Cleveland has won the James Beard Foundation Award. Established back in 1923, that makes them Cleveland's oldest family-owned and operated restaurant. We'll come back in a moment, exclusively on cleveland.com.
Concrete in your garage is uneven, cracked, pitted, and just plain ugly. Transform your garage into a welcoming entryway with Nature Stone flooring. Nature Stone corrects uneven concrete so you don't have to worry about tripping or slipping. Plus, Nature Stone is backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty.
Get Nature Stone installed in your home by the end of May and get up to half off. Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today.
It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
But let's take a look at this date in sports history. June 4th, 1974, 10-cent beer night. That's all you need to say, right?
Yep, I remember it. Well, I was in college at the time, and
what you would have done for 10-cent beer.
Those kind of nights all run together in college.
It's funny, you watch the tape of that and you see Mike Hargrove throwing punches in there. You see Billy Martin started the whole thing trying to get himself a win with a forfeiture, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, he was the guy leading the charge. He was the guy swinging bats.
Yeah.
You know, unbelievable. 10-cent beer
He's
night.
usually such a calm, centered person.
Yeah, let's check out this date in Les-Levine history, Bud. Back in June 4th, 1999, for years, Gus, the heavy-set softball umpire, told everybody that he played for the San Diego Chargers in the early 70s. He didn't count on the internet being invented so that those players could check that fact out.
So you're saying you're calling him on it now?
I'm calling him out on it.
Is this the first time you've ever called him on it?
Well, he's not with us anymore.
Okay.
But.
So you don't think it was true?
Well, I mean, if you don't think, I mean, why would anybody think the internet would come about and catch you in a lie like that?
Well, there were other ways to find out, weren't there?
But no, we believed him. We wanted to believe in the sanctity of umpireness. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. We asked a Facebook question. That is, I'm surprised at this, listening to talk radio. By the way, I'll be on 92.3 The Fan tomorrow and Thursday from 10 until 2 in for Jeff Phelps and with Andy Baskin. Would you like to see an 18-game NFL season? Bud, what do you think most people said on the air?
I think most people said that they would like to see it.
You're absolutely right, which just tells me gambling is not far away.
Yeah, exactly. But Melvin is not among those people.
Melvin is not. Melvin says no. Michael Galandiak says yes, more football. Jeffrey Bernstein, I'm sure Las Vegas would like that. Mary Kay Reese, a winner, 2 extra games to see the Browns even if they don't by chance make the playoffs. Rick May says NFL keeps saying we're doing our best to keep our players healthy and safe. Adding 2 more games seemed to defeat that purpose. Even if the preseason was shortened, sounds like another money grab for the owners.
I think Rick
it's
is
their way
right.
they can get rid of the exhibition, half of the exhibition games, I would guess.
Yeah, but why did they want to do that?
Well, they wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, they were already selling tickets to it. They're forcing people to buy them. I just think that they'd end up with a lot more injuries than they already have.
Yeah,
I don't think the players would ever go for it.
Well, they might, because you could argue, if you're the Players Association, you say, okay, give me 10 more players per team. That's 320 more players.
Maybe if they were, and then I think you would see the league take that off the table if they had to pay 10 more salaries. I mean,
I don't know.
They can barely keep enough quarterbacks on the field that you want to watch in a 16-game
That's the point. And
season.
the other point is that I might be the last one who cares about competitive balance. To me, 16 games is the right amount. You've proven in 16 games whether you're a playoff team. If you want to take away the bye for the top teams in the league and just maybe add a playoff team in each league, I guess you could do that.
Yeah, I think it works as it is, and I think it's a chip that the league sometimes tosses out to see, and then they pull it off the table and get something else in return for it.
You want to listen to the voicemail of Truth and Reason?
I do.
Keep in mind, when the person starts talking, we can't argue with that person.
Okay, but can I grade them too?
That's not this.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you can grade them, but that's not
we'll see
the
how good it is.
quickies. All right, let's hear what we have on the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hi, Les. This is Ron Byer. It was great to see you and Allison, and Lisa and I had a great time at Sokolowski's. Now on to sports. John Dorsey went out and picked up guys to strengthen both the offense as well as the defensive side of the ball, and we will see the results this fall. If the Indians management did the same and picked up enough offensive players to score at least 4 runs a game so far this year, how many games would have been victories instead of defeats, and where would we be standing in division now?
All right, Ron, great to see you also at Sokolowski's. I don't know. I just think so many things have gone wrong. It almost doesn't matter if you plug a leak here, that opens 2 leaks somewhere else, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point. Had they just picked up a couple more, experienced hitters in this lineup, they're only what, a game under now?
Yes, but
I mean, it's not.
They did pick up.
Far-fetched to think that they could be 3, 4, 5, 6 games over with a good offense.
They tried Hanley Ramirez. They tried Carlos Gonzalez.
Yeah.
In other years, that would have worked.
Yeah, I mean, it would have worked because they would have been part of a better lineup.
Better team,
instead of being
better pitches to hit.
We've had situations this year, to Rick's point, where the player who is batting 4th is designated for assignment the next day.
Yeah. Or it's Jason Kipnis.
Yeah. So I mean, his point is well taken. It wouldn't have taken a lot more offense for this team to be reasonable.
Right.
Reasonably.
Yeah, but everything fell apart. The pitching fell apart.
Yeah. Certainly there were injuries.
Outfielders weren't good to start with.
They'll get those pitchers back, but they still really have the same offense, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it'll be too late by that team. All right, when we get back, Bud will have a chance. He's got the Sharpie. You're going to have a chance. I believe we have some quickies that we can grade when we come on back. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. You got the finest in racing going on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday evening with a post time of 6 p.m. Open early every day at noon for simulcast action from all over the world. They've got a weekly Sunday contest. Top prize $500 each week, and the Belmont Stakes and the Battle of Lake Erie this Saturday, June 8th. All at Northfield Park. Free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. Back in a moment. Bud Shaw with us exclusively on cleveland.com.
Your basement is damp, dirty, and not somewhere you want to spend time. Let Nature Stone flooring transform your basement into a true extension of your home. Nature Stone's proprietary hydrostatic ports allow water to simply evaporate, so no mold or mildew. Plus, Nature Stone is backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty.
Get Nature Stone installed in your home by the end of May and get up to half off. Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today.
It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, the D-Man from WTAM Radio, Dennis Maniloff, joins us. You see us Monday through Thursday from 6 until 7 Eastern Time live, and then it's archived all day and all night long. Go back to any show you want. Birthdays for today, 1947 Education, born on this date, Terry Kennedy. Tony Pena, who hit the home run to win the first in the great 90s teams, to win that first game against the Boston Red Sox. Xavier McDaniel, Greg Monroe, and Aaron Nola, all born on the 4th of June. 216-575-0403. Time for a How Come Quickie. How come a doctor told Les's friend to walk 5 miles a day, so on the 10th day he was 50 miles from home?
Didn't account for that, huh?
No. Figured it was a good idea. Cleveland Bill says, thanks, Les, for the Bob Neal story that I told last night. Any anecdotes about other old-time sports announcers or reporters? Jimmy Dudley, Harry Jones, Jim Grainer, Gib Shanley, for example. Did you know Gib at all? Were you here when Gib was here?
Just vaguely, yeah. I didn't. I wasn't around him much.
He was really, really good.
That's what I heard.
Got some more quickies. Let's see. The answer is no. I don't have any more that I'm going to give up. I gave up. That Bob Neal one was good enough for a month.
There you go.
Got to take a hard line sometimes. All right, Cleveland Bill comes back with this. How come IHOP's main entree isn't frog legs? IHOP?
I get it. Yeah.
Okay. How come when Timmy sneaked away for some whipping cream, he received a tongue lashing? How come Guinness employs only stout-hearted men? How come my order of snails took so long to arrive? Well,
now I like that one.
I do too. All right, you ready to? Got that Sharpie ready?
Yeah.
This from John Patrick.
Is there only one?
Two.
Two? All right.
How come when the farmer said, I have 47 sheep, can you help me round them up? I said 50.
Okay. Okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I like it.
That is a good one. How come when I asked my doctor what I should do about the spots all over my body, he said, don't wear plaid? I don't like that as much as I like the first one. First one is classic. Can you help me round them up? Yeah, 50. What do you got? 9.7.
9.7.
You're a tough grader, but you're kind.
I just want there needs to be a carrot out there for him to reach the Mary Lou Retton number.
In other words, if he hits a 10 very early, he doesn't have to come to mandatory.
I mean, what's his incentive? Yeah. What's his
why
incentive?
come to a mandatory?
I still want him showing up.
I
still want him showing up at the end of July.
All right, you got a final comment you'd like to give out? Indians
no,
and
I'm
the
just
Minnesota
really.
Twins?
I just can't wait for regular training camp to start, because a lot of this just feels like fabricated interest right now.
You have to do something.
I mean, there's a lot of guys tweeting pictures of Mayfield throwing a pass to Beckham for a touchdown, and they're in shorts, and there's no pads, and there's no real defense and no great pass rush, and it's just okay. I know the excitement level's high, but
All right, you know Brian in the back room? Can we get a shot of the back room? Maybe we can, maybe we can't. I don't know. He's getting married this week.
He is.
This week or next? Didn't invite any of us to his bachelor party.
Did he invite Beckham? That's all I want to know. Because Beckham's probably not coming. I don't want him to think that if he invited.
But it was a mandatory stag party.
I don't want to think if he invited Odell that he's going to show.
Apparently the guys left early, so we're not going to get a shot of the back room. All right, that'll do it for us. Great job as always by Bud Shaw. Tomorrow night, the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, normally here on Thursday. I'm on radio 92.3 The Fan tomorrow and Thursday. With Andy Baskin on Baskin and Phelps. We'll see you tomorrow night. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.